Well, this conference is very unique. I can't think of another conference where entire manuscripts are read by panels of experts who trawl line by line through each page to find things to discuss, to offer corrections and suggestions. It's incredibly valuable, particularly at the later stages of publication, when you're fine-tuning your work, to have that sort of feedback. It's incredibly valuable. I think the comments of the experts, particularly in my case, were incredibly helpful. They were rooted in a deep understanding of the text and of the literature. They were also very respectful and constructive, which is the main thing. So their comments will be helpful to improving the text before publication. Like many other countries of the former Soviet bloc, Ukraine lives in the shadow of its Soviet past. It's very important to understand the roots of contemporary problems, contemporary economic problems, contemporary social problems, contemporary problems with neighbours. And the book looks at a critical point in Soviet history, particularly in Ukraine, and that is after the end of the Second World War, which was a very chaotic, very difficult time, and about how Soviet power was reconstructed in this country, and about how this reconstruction, which was a long and difficult process, shaped the further development of these countries into the late Soviet period and into the post-Soviet period. What's been very useful about the comments I've been getting from historians here who, unlike myself, are also 19th and 18th century historians, not particularly of the 20th century, is to understand the roots of these problems far back into Ukrainian, Russian, Polish history, which has added further context to assist in this process of finding the roots of these contemporary problems and better understanding them. Most of us as historians work on our historical sites. So I work in Kyiv, in Moscow, I work in other places outside of these major capitals. But going to places in Poland, going to these other cities is incredibly valuable because you sense something in the air, in the land, in the people that you could never garner just from archival sources or from texts. So it's incredibly important for understanding this entire region to have a deep sense of place. And that's what these trips, these sightseeing, if you want to call it that, that's one way of offering it, particularly to people like me who would not have gone to other Polish cities or these other places because they're not directly related to my research. But at the same time, when you go to these places, you can establish a better context for understanding the broader sphere of what you're interested in.